Happy February, guys. Brooke and Laura here. And this month we're switching it up. We're going to be talking about tech. So specifically what tech tools can help you to better operate virtually and also in a more efficient way. So a lot of attorneys have had to kind of quickly adapt to the circumstances of the past year to figure out ways to reach clients, deliver services, and do all those things in a different way. However, the urgency of transitioning to, a remote or virtual environment may not have necessarily allowed you to kind of vet out some of the best technology or the best, systems and how to set up those workflows. So we hope that some of you are looking to, at least offer and continue on, some of these innovative practices in your firm that you may have adopted over the last year. And today we're specifically going to be talking about intake and automation. So again, we're all about efficiency. We do not like to do things that we do not need to be doing so that we can live our lives. We don't want to be drowning in all of the repetitive tasks. And quite honestly, that's really not a great place for any of us as attorneys to spend our time. But if you will build an intake process for onboarding and one that actually feeds into automating your client documents, then you can actually save a lot of time and also cut down on some transcribing errors as well. So those are just a few of the benefits. And I'll let Laura kind of talk to you about our intake and what that looks like and why we love it so much.
I am going to share a little anecdote because that's how my mind is kind of pinging today, different, places. And when Brooke was talking just now, I had a memory of my first job as a litigation associate and getting in trouble for walking to the fax machine to fax something because I didn't want to wait for my assistant to do it. And I literally got in trouble for doing that task because that was not valuable. It was not a valuable task for my time. I needed to be doing billable work. That just popped into my brain. And it's hard for those of us who are A-type personalities, who are used to doing things for ourselves. It is kind of hard, but it will burn you out a lot quicker than anything else could possibly do. So, except for working in domestic violence, maybe. But anyway, that's an aside. So let's talk about intake. Today is,
I like how your brain's working right now. It's funny.
Today is that day. So with intake, you already do intakes, whether that's having a new client sit down with an assistant, a paralegal, or an attorney to answer questions. You're on the phone, possibly having a phone conversation to gather details, or you have an electronic form that the client fills out. This is the only way that you can get information you need to perform your job. Moving entirely to an electronic intake process allows the client to fill in basically what's a Q&A form. Instead of you having, to waste that time doing it with someone in the office, the client is the one answering the questions. If the client is the one answering the questions on their own, any errors, this is a bonus, any errors in dates and spelling can be blamed on them instead of the human error on your end transposing that information. So that's kind of a bonus because we all know that we've sent out documents. Every single person who's listening has sent out documents that have an error in spelling or something. And I personally love the fact that I can blame it on someone else if they spelled their child's name wrong versus me doing it. So we have really over the past year and a half, I would say, we've really supercharged our client onboarding by integrating a newer software tool called Client Rock into our workflow. Client Rock, we started using them in 2019, I think, Brooke. Does that sound right? Sure. We're gonna go with 2019. They not only replaced our e-signature tool, invoicing, client portal software, and calendaring system, but it also has saved us a ton of time. The old way that we used to do it, inputting clients into our system, used to take us at least 30 minutes. We would do it in our practice management software after we'd had the consultation. If they decided they wanted to hire us, then we had to, even though a lot of it was automated, it was all these different places, and we had to go into DocuSign. We had to type in the email address or copy and paste it after we had done edits to the client agreement. Then we had to upload it into Practice Panther, or it was integrated with Practice Panther, but then we had to go to another place. And hit a button to send it. Like, it was just kind of a nightmare. So it used to take us a long time to do just initial, hey, send the invoice, send the client agreement to the client. Now it takes us just a few minutes. So it's less than 5 minutes. It's, it's so seamless now. So here's what it kind of looks like. And then we're talking about basic, like beginning of representation intake. So a client signs up and pays a consultation fee on our Client Rock calendar, either through our website, our chat bot that's on our website, or our toll-free answering service. We capture key information through the electronic form that's required for the client to fill out on that, on when they set up the consultation. And we get invites, emails, and reminders, both the attorney and the client, for that particular consultation time. We then, the attorney, call the client for the consultation at the specified time. Both Brooke and I don't use cell phones for that. Like, we use our cell phone, but we use Google Voice, a Google Voice number, so that it's not like, we're obviously set up a little bit differently, but we use a Google Voice to call out at the assigned time. If the client decides that they want to move forward with us, their information is already in Client Rock because of that consultation they set up. It's already there for us to use. We can start a new client in there if we need to. That's easy as well. But oftentimes for us, it happens from a consultation that somebody decides to move forward and hire us. If they decide, hey, I want to hire you, then we literally just have to click a couple of buttons, fill in a few bits of information on the form template that we have for our engagement letter. We confirm the pricing for the specific engagement. Like for me, for example, for divorces, I have 3 different pricing models, and I need to, put in that dollar amount in there, and then start the engagement. There's literally a button that says start the engagement that sends the client agreement and the invoice, and they have to pay first before they sign. And then once they've done that, we receive both back and are notified and can move forward with the legal work. So inside of Client Rock, once that gets started, we have the ability to message and share docs throughout the entire duration of the representation. So really, Client Rock is our entire software right now, with the side of what Brooke's going to talk about next.
When you were saying we definitely have cell phones, and you were talking about, how we do that, my mind immediately went to telepathy. I don't know. I was holding that in, but anyway,
that would be really cool. That'll be like the next AI.
We're different because we telepathically communicate with our clients, and then they move forward because it's very convenient for them. But no, on to automation. So we love automation. We struggle with automation, not because we can't automate, but because their tools are a little bit cumbersome. And we are super happy that our intake process has, kind of evolved and gotten to where it is. But automation is really important, and that's just that key second step. And so, we are heavily automating over here, and we are also on the hunt for, better tools and things constantly. So one of the things that's really easy for us to automate here are our estate planning documents, but we also do that with some of our business documents, our basic litigation pleadings, even like complaints and waivers. So that's very helpful to have that automated. We also automate how we obtain that information from clients. Like Laura said, that Q&A, that, the questions, so we don't have that back and forth. So when you are looking for technology choices, and good luck to you, make sure that your intake can be integrated with those automation tools, because it's going to save you so much time. So for us, for example, Laura mentioned we use Practice Panther for our practice management system. And we moved to it, and we are specifically and only really using it for the automation tools. So those tools are fully inside of that practice management system, which allows us to map like some of those Q&A form answers to some codes that can then be embedded in all the Word documents that we have in there for like one button automation. So it pulls those in, and Client Rock actually integrates with Practice Panther, which is kind of how we started down that road also. And it creates the client contacts in Practice Panther for us. So it's nice because that's there, and it is triggered. So that has helped, but we still have to go in and do the automation and send the questionnaires. So that part is still a little cumbersome for us. And it does take some time commitment on the front end to create the workflow and to automate all these things, the documents and merge codes and all the things. But it really is going to save you a massive amount of time, valuable time, when you're actually performing those tasks for your clients. But it's also a great place to look at outsourcing. It's good for you to understand your tools, know their limitations, know what you're using and how they're used. But again, your time is really valuable. And so we actually have an automation assistant. And that was after we did it for a little while and decided this is not what we want to do and this is not our jam. So and our girl is amazing. But if you can hire somebody to perform those more tedious tasks, it really frees you up to look at how you can, better manage your firm, the time you spend with clients, things like that. But with all that said, we are currently looking to move away from a full practice management system because we don't necessarily need all those functionalities. Laura said earlier, a lot of the things that were replaced just by moving to a different intake software for us, but our goal really is to simplify things even more. So we definitely are all about crowdsourcing and collaborating. So if you guys have tools that you use or know of things that you use for specifically those Q&A forms, collecting that information from clients, and also doing the automating for the documents, then please let us know. Email us, message us, drop a comment, whatever. We want to dive in and play with some of those tools. Bonus points if they are an all-in-one tool of those two things, but we really don't need all the extra bells and whistles. And so we're really looking for something that is simple to use, that we can send out questionnaires, we can retrieve that information, and also can automate the documents in a very efficient way. So embracing technology and convenience for the consumer experience is super valuable for us as attorneys. Also, I don't think we always think about that, but it's good for our well-being and also with our satisfaction and fulfillment with even practicing law. Because we get burned out, and especially when we're having to do a lot of mundane tasks, it's really frustrating sometimes. So attorneys who are kind of embracing technology, which I feel like we've been pushed in that direction, and it's exciting to see all the new things that are coming, and the ways attorneys are jumping in and using technology in their practices. But it helps us become more mobile, more organized, more valuable to clients, which in turn then is going to make us more profitable and efficient and happier with our practices. So we can serve clients in a much less cumbersome way than we've all been taught and learned in school and whatever, and been doing it for whatever, forever and ever and ever. But it's really a win-win situation. It just takes kind of that first step, that commitment, and implementing it. So thanks so much for joining us today. We're going to be back next week for some more tech talk. We'll be here at 1 p.m. Eastern and 12 Central, 11 Mountain, and 10 Pacific. Thanks for tuning in today, and have a great week.